have barely moved all day, yet you feel as though you've run a marathon. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling, your bones heavy, your eyes burning, waiting for a rest that refuses to come. Your physical body has been sitting in a chair walking down a hallway, or perhaps just gazing out a window. Yet internally, you are sweating, panting, and bleeding. You are exhausted. But you haven't been doing physical labor. You've been hemorrhaging your life force into a void. We often believe that our energy is stolen from us by the outside world by demanding bosses, noisy environments, failing economies, or difficult families. But if you sit in a perfectly silent, empty room, you will find that the exhaustion follows you. It sits beside you. It whispers in your ear. The most brutal thief of your vitality is not the world. It is the labyrinth of your own mind. You are tired because you are constantly defending yourself in a courtroom that does not exist. You are tired because you are trying to bend time, rewrite the past, and micromanage a future that hasn't happened yet. This is not a guide on how to sleep better or a trick to boost your productivity. This is a dissection of why you are tearing yourself apart from the inside and what it actually takes to stop. Modern psychology calls this state rumination or cognitive overload. The ancients had a different understanding. The Stoics recognized that the mind is a terrible master not because it is inherently flawed, but because it is fundamentally misguided about what it controls. Seneca once observed that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. But the question we must ask is why? Why do we willingly subject ourselves to this imaginary suffering? The psychological reality is that your brain despises helplessness. When faced with an uncertain world, the ego panics. It cannot control what your peers think of you. It cannot control the trajectory of your career. And it certainly cannot control the inevitable losses that life will hand you. So in an attempt to feel safe, your mind manufactures an illusion of control. It generates an endless stream of scenarios, arguments, and judgments. It tricks you into believing that if you just think about a problem long enough, hard enough, and from enough angles, you will somehow neutralize the danger. You are substituting actual agency for mental friction. The Stoic shift is the realization that this excessive thinking is not preparation. It is an addiction to control, and the only way to reclaim your energy is to ruthlessly sever your attachment to outcomes you cannot dictate. Notice where your thoughts go when you are alone. You are likely holding a trial. You replay a conversation from 3 years ago, finally delivering the perfect comeback. You imagine a future confrontation with a friend perfectly outlining why you are right and they are wrong. You are the judge, the defense attorney, and the jury. Why do we do this? Because subconsciously we are desperate for a verdict of innocence. We want the world to validate our existence, to confirm that we are competent, kind, and correct. When the real world denies us this clear validation, we retreat into the phantom courtroom of our minds to win the case artificially. But sustaining this illusion takes a massive toll. It requires the constant burning of mental fuel. The Stoic alternative is quietly devastating to the ego. You must resign as your own defense attorney. You must accept that people will misunderstand you. They will judge your actions unfairly. They will assign you motives you do not possess, and you must let them. When you stop trying to control the narrative inside your head, you will inevitably experience social friction in reality. You may lose the approval of those who demand explanations, but in exchange, you get your energy back. You stop performing for ghosts. Your mind is also drained by a profound modern sickness, the belief that you must have a stance on everything. You observe a stranger's behavior, and immediately your mind categorizes it. You read a headline, and instantly you generate outrage or agreement. You're constantly sorting the universe into good and bad, fair and unfair. Every time you cast a judgment, you attach a tiny piece of your soul to an external event. You tether your emotional state to a passing cloud. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. This is not a call for ignorance. It is a master class in psychological preservation. Your energy is finite. When you actively choose to look at an irritating email, a perceived slight, or a global absurdity and simply say, 'This is outside my jurisdiction,' you cut the tether. The mental silence that follows is not born of apathy, but of extreme disciplined focus. Perhaps the deepest drain on your inner reserves is the silent war you wage against what is. You catch yourself thinking he shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't be in this situation. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. This is the mind acting like a machine running with no oil. The gears are grinding. Reality has already occurred. The event is past. The words are spoken. The mistake is made. Yet your thoughts push violently against the unchangeable present, trying to force a different reality into existence. This resistance is the exact psychological definition of suffering. The Stoic concept of Amor Fati. A love of one's fate is often misunderstood as a cheerful, toxic positivity. It is not. True Stoic acceptance is gritty. It is the unglamorous, heavy sigh of a soldier accepting the terrain. It is looking at a betrayal, a failure, or a profound loss, and saying, "This is the reality of the board. Now I play from here." When you stop demanding that the universe conform to your preferences, the internal friction vanishes. You no longer waste calories fighting the past. You merely navigate the present. If you truly wish to stop your thoughts from draining your energy, you must be prepared for what fills the void when the noise stops. When you close the phantom courtroom, when you drop your unnecessary opinions, and when you stop fighting the reality of your life, you will experience a profound, almost eerie silence. Without the constant hum of anxiety and defensive planning, you might feel a strange emptiness. You may even feel disconnected from the people around you, many of whom bond entirely over shared outrage and shared anxiety. By choosing inner independence, you choose a path of quiet detachment. You will no longer be an active participant in the collective panic. So the next time you find yourself exhausted in an empty room staring at the ceiling, ask yourself, what heavy, useless thing are you refusing to put down? And what would happen if just for tonight you simply let it drop?